Let's do it.
Right, there we go. We're live. We're live. How we doing, boys? That was a bit of a scramble technically there.
Always a challenge.
Always a challenge. As people are joining. So Ricky is going to be with us. He's currently caught or was caught on M25 traffic, and he will be with us, I think, about 10 minutes late. So we've got a substitute for Ricky. This is Grace. Grace wanted to say hello because it's been a big day. She's lost her second big tooth. Can you see the gap?
Massive achievement.
Yeah, lost her big. So how I plug the gap of someone losing their teeth is there was a bit of a gap in the market after the mini budget for 6 months. But how is everyone feeling now?
We're good. The dust settled. The dust has settled. We're rocking and rolling. The world is not ending. So we're still out here doing business.
Yeah, you've had a busy week, I think, haven't you, Matt?
I have. I've been all over the place, and I'm glad I got here just in the nick of time today because I've been running around like crazy.
Grace, would you like to give us an update on the property market?
If you want to sell a house, that's a good idea, because if you do want to, you should use Avocado Property to help you.
£10 under the pillow later. Thank you very much.
If not the best advice ever given, certainly not alive, but just in the history of advice.
We've got some people saying hello, Grace, as well. It would seem you're more popular than we are. So, yeah, got Chris checking in on LinkedIn. Hello, everyone on LinkedIn. Hello, everyone on YouTube. Today, we're going to talk about quite a few different things. Thank you. Would you mind leaving us now to continue our live in an adult-only zone? Thank you for your excellent update, Grace. We appreciate that. We've got a couple of people saying they enjoyed that update. I might have to get Grace back. She's definitely more popular than we are. So we're going to touch on a few things. But Mike, how are you getting on? I scared you a little bit before we went live because I said we couldn't hear you. It just turned out that the volume was turned right down.
Yeah, I mean, there's usually a problem with my laptop, but now I can fully tell you that there's no issues with the laptop. It was unfortunately a technical issue at your end, Ian. But yeah, all good. We're busy, much in the same way as Matt is. We're running around, we're listing, we're selling properties, just spinning all the plates, doing what we love. Mini budget is a distant memory now, so yeah, can't complain at all. Albeit a bit of an improvement on the weather, but we've got no control over that.
Yeah, it's raining horribly today. That is for sure.
It's not ideal.
If you're listening, don't be scared. Just like you commented, hello to Grace. We want property questions. So if you're listening in, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Matt's page, my page, Will and Mike's page, anywhere you are, it was almost a rap then. Needed a bit of music, needed a beat to that. Please ask us your property questions. We would love to get them stuck in. We've got a couple. Well, in fact, earlier on this week, someone was talking in detail about multi-agency and sole agency. And is it a good idea to go multi-agency and have more than one estate agent? Is it a bad idea? Now, I know, Matt, your view on this is you're a strict, it's me or kind of, I'm not really looking to entertain the idea of going multi-agency because you don't want that game involved, I'm guessing, but give us your top 3 reasons to why you think sole agency is the only way forward.
Yeah, so I'm just not interested in multi-agency whatsoever, primarily because I don't think it helps the client in any way, shape or form. I think it actually helps the buyer to get the house potentially for less money. I think I invest heavily in my sales as we all do to get the best price for our sellers. Mm-hmm. So I think what happens a lot of time with multi-agency is people think, oh, well, if I have 2 agents, that's double the exposure, that's double the marketing, double the effort. And then they're going to work twice as hard to get the sale before the other agent. But that isn't what happens at all in my experience. You just have 2 agents who are kind of not fully invested in getting the seller the best outcome. And then really, if I were to have a property on the market and another agent was also selling it, you're kind of thinking, well, actually, I just want to get this sale before the other agent does. And I just don't think it incentivizes good behavior from anyone. So sole agency only for me.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point because I think the way things have evolved now, I like to think are evolving in the estate agency world, is I think agents are being instructed more because of the trust that the client has with them. And I think trust goes two ways. There's always going to be someone that wants to use an online agent or use a free agent and kind of almost a DIY version of taking the risk. But then the people that are serious about moving, there has to be a really strong bond and relationship with the agent, doesn't there, Mike? I mean, I know your clients highly recommend you, but that nature of, if we think back to where you were working, you know, in your old days of having a good relationship with a client for a segment and then passing it to someone else, they've got to build the relationship again, pass it to someone else. That's a big part of it. And trust with a sole agency agreement is a trust for us with the client and the client with us, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one, echoing what Matt said there, and absolutely, you've got your own agenda as an agent that you set out initially, where you're going, look, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do the marketing, and this is the plan for you to get moved. One, you can't perform what you've said because you're ultimately up against it with the other agent. And let's face it, in the UK, agents don't work together as much as we like to think that we do. We really don't, especially if we're wanting the same thing. If there's one bit of cheese and there's two mice, they're going to be fighting over it. And it's exactly what Matt said is what happens. Unfortunately, it's not working for the client's best interest. It's just to avoid the other agent getting the sale. It's as simple as that. And any way that you cut the cake, that's what the agent wants. And what that may mean is that actually it goes on at the wrong price initially, and then ultimately that they're getting the wrong buyers through the door, and you're probably going to get a lower price because you're being poked and teased to take that offer because they don't want the other person to introduce that buyer. So it really actually works counterintuitively against what is the absolute goal for that client. Unless there's exceptional circumstances where you absolutely have to instruct more than one agent, maybe that's a plan that a new home developer set out, or perhaps that's a case of, look, this is what I've been told I need to do from the agent I'm buying from, or whatever the case is, then I really think it's the wrong idea, because you don't get the opportunity to build that relationship. You're spreading it over two, so it's very, very difficult.
Have we got another child invader on the live call somewhere?
We have, unfortunately. We've got my little girl who's trying to say hello after coming home from preschool. Do you want to come and say hello?
Has she got any advice like Grace's advice?
She got, well, I tell you what she has got. She has got a pink hoodie on it, albeit not branded. Do you want to wave, Myla? Gonna wave? You gonna wave? No.
Myla, can you give us a thumbs up, or can you give us a thumbs up or down for multi-agency? What do we think?
Do a thumbs down. Do a thumbs down. No,
thumbs down.
She's not doing it. She's not doing it.
Matt, what do you think about Ben's comment there? That kind of relays on what you said a little bit. I think that's stereotypical. If you see a property that's on with like 3 or 4 agents, you instantly think, oh, they're a bit desperate.
So if I'm buying a house, I really hope it's on with 2 agents, because I would go to agent A, view the house with them. If I liked it, offer through them. And then if I don't get the response I want, I can go to agent B and see if I get a different result through that avenue. So you're just opening yourself up to games and silliness, and it just always in favor of the buyer and not the seller.
Yeah, I totally agree. Here we go. Look, we've got ourselves a Ricky. We've had a couple of substitutes for you, Ricky. 2 other girls. So
yeah, got Myla in the house. I'm afraid, mate, you're a bit too late to the party. She's taken your position.
Better substitutes.
Yeah, better substitutes. We're talking multi-agency at the moment, and kind of Matt's view on multi-agency is very much he's not interested. For him, it's a relationship on a sole basis. Mike's the same. We kind of feel that the advice we want to give sellers as well around multi-agency is it does look desperate, and it only works for the buyer because they can see the desperation and potentially negotiate a lower price. So I guess from your point of view, any other thoughts on that or takes on that at all?
No, I couldn't agree more. We provide maximum exposure. And if anyone else is going to come on board alongside our listing, I can't really see what else they're going to offer, which we're not. If anyone's going to inquire, they'd see our listing on Rightmove, Zoopla, etc., our website. And we're also doing the maximum that can be had on the property listing with the social media campaigns.
Are you a little bit out of breath running in the house, mate?
I am, mate. Yeah, I am. A bit flustered, not going to lie.
Have you abandoned the car at the side of the motorway and just run back?
I would have got home quicker.
It is chopper out there. As soon as the rain comes, everyone slows down. Georgina's jumped in. She said, what would you say to someone looking to change agent who's locked into a long contract at the moment? What's the advice we would give to someone like that? We've got a couple of people checking in as well. So I just thought I'd say hi to Stephen, who's saying good evening. We've got Steve Grant saying hello. We've got Ben saying hello. A load of people said hello to Grace earlier. And then we've got Georgina with this great question. So, Mike, come to you and Milo on this one, actually. What do you think? What do you do? Let's say you're 6 weeks into a 16-week agreement. You've fallen out with the agent. You've had 2 viewings, no feedback. You're frustrated. You've got 2.5 months left of it locked in, but you want to move and you want to get going and you're scared that you're going to hit summer and miss out on this unbelievable opportunity, which is kind of the end of April through into May, with a little bit of June before the summer holidays hit. So what's the advice?
I think my advice would be, firstly, let the agent know just straight away. Say, look, I'm not happy. This is how I'm feeling about things. Go through the story that's happened so far in terms of what you've not been happy about, what you've been disappointed about, and also how that offsets against their expectations when you sat down initially. You know, if they promised X, Y, and Z and it's not happened, I think you're perfectly within your right to say, look, you said you were going to deliver this, you haven't, and ultimately I don't want to be prolonging this any longer than it needs to, and I'm unhappy. There's probably 2 avenues that you've got. First of all, there's, you know, the agent holds their hands up and goes, do you know what, look, I'm sorry you're unhappy, let's think about a solution, is the best outcome. And then you've probably got 2 avenues. First of all is, look, we'll look to allow you to bring another agent on board, which obviously comes back to the multi-agency side of things. But making sure that you've got that all in writing, because we've seen it before where agents say one thing and then they stick to their original agreement. So you need to make sure that you've got it all in writing or got a new agreement drawn up if that's what they're prepared to do. The best possible outcome is that they say, look, we're really sorry we're unhappy. We don't want to damage our reputation. We want to let you continue, obviously, with your moving plans. If it's not happening with us, you don't trust us, whatever's happened, we'll allow you to exit the agreement sooner, and you agree a date and you move on, and then obviously tie in with another agent for however long. And obviously I would always agree that you would probably arguably take a shorter contract on your next agreement with whichever agent that would be. But also making them sure that if they aren't agreeable to that and you do want the opportunity to change agents, that actually what happens if I take my house off of Rightmove? Because I think a lot of people these days that we're coming across, where they're unhappy with their current agent, feel that they can't remove their property from the market, albeit, yes, that contract might be running in the background and they might not be physically be able to change agents. They are perfectly within their right to instruct their agent to remove it from marketing and give it a bit of a breather. So even if it's a worst case scenario of, let's say, look, we're not going to let you out of your agreement, you've got, I don't know, 8 weeks left or whatever, there's no harm in taking it off of the market, letting that contract run, getting another agent ready to go for when the contract actually ends, and giving it a bit of breathing space so that it comes back on as a fresh listing. So that would be my advice. But first and foremost is air your frustrations to your agent. And I'd argue that you need a face-to-face meeting to really do that. So get them back round. Don't meet them in their office because it's kind of on their turf and their terms. I'd say get them back round in your living room and have a proper upfront conversation about it.
I'd say Mike covered that, actually.
I've been there too many times, unfortunately.
That's a wrap, basically, on that
anyone's
one.
got anything else to add or some words of wisdom. I'm sure Matt's got some pointers, no doubt.
I think what you said, though, is all you can do. You know, the agent's either going to be reasonable about it or they're not. And I understand people don't want their house to be off Rightmove, but if you take a macro view of the moving process, is a month or 2 off of Rightmove and starting again the right way, is that the right move? So I guess you just got to weigh up all of these things.
It's looking at the timeline ultimately, isn't it? You know, ultimately, if you're going to leave it on for another, let's say 8-9 weeks with no interest, and the agent's not interested in selling it, or they're not getting the right people through the door, you're actually better off letting that contract run, relisting it with the right agent, getting a buyer on board in the first couple of weeks, which is, let's face it, when things tend to happen, and then not being in that position where you're trying to change agent and then flip from one to the next, and people saying, oh, that's changed hands and gone on with another agent, giving people a little bit of a breather period.
Ricky, do you think agents should be tying clients in for 3.5, 4, sometimes 6 months? Do you think that's fair, or that needs to be reviewed?
That is completely unfair. I think there's a few agents that are out there that will pitch it as if that's the time that you start to market through to completion. And we all know that's completely not the case. It's the time that they physically got it on the market. We all know that the first month of marketing is imperative, and you need to get the price right from the start. And we all want to sell properties as soon as possible. And typically the best properties at the best price will sell within the first month. So if we're bringing a property to the market in the next week or two, and it's been on the market with another agent for 3-4 months, if people are looking on the portals in price order, they're seeing, oh, new listing with Avocado property, nice and shiny, looks amazing, want to inquire. They're scrolling down, they're seeing it's on with another agent, and it's actually been on the market with them for 3-4 months. It's not new, which is a bit of a shame, and it actually takes away from that new hit kind of feel.
Mm-hmm. I think the other thing that is a bit maybe controversial, but if you're on with an agent, you're tied in for another 10 weeks, and the agent is saying to you, we got to drop the price 20 grand, 30 grand. I guess the decision you've got to make as the seller is, do I feel I'm bent over a barrel a little bit here, and that's the only way to do it? Or actually, should I go, do you know what? I'm not going to do that because I don't want to lose 30 grand. But what I will do is I'll disinstruct you. I'll go on with a new agent like Avocado potentially at that original price. And if you get an offer £10,000 lower than your asking price with another agent, you can pay that agent, and then you make a decision on how you handle the former agent that was trying to get you 30 grand less, because you're still in reality going to be 15k up by taking control of the situation. It won't work for everyone, and I'm not saying the price is right, but it's something to seriously consider, because it might be that you're better off not dropping your house price 25 grand and trying a different agent. And sometimes it's poor advice from the outset, but no, solid point and well covered. Neil Fennings jumped in. He's asking if anyone is still seeing properties for sale with snow on, asking for a friend. So quite clearly there's some in that area that he spotted. But yeah, I don't think we've seen snow for a few months, so there probably shouldn't be any, right?
I have seen some,
but there
is bad news. Like, I think everyone can stick their hand up and say, unfortunately, one, you've got an agent that was happy to go out and say, yeah, this is the right advice to the client to do photos when there's snow. And secondly, to have the audacity to leave it on with snow. I mean, like, where's the logic? Genuinely.
Mind blowing.
But not even from the seller, even from the seller. Surely you'd have been like, it's snowing, let's hang on.
I bet that agent is telling their client, we're doing everything we can try and do to sell your home.
Yeah.
It's horrendous.
I'm sure they are. Myla, I don't know if you could help us with this, but next month on the 19th of May is the Avocado 3-year birthday party. We're going to be 3 years old. How old are you, Myla?
Myla, how old are you? Let me ping it down. How old are you?
3.
She's 3.
So you're a little bit older than Avocado, actually, but we're going to be 3 next month. Do you think we should have a party? Do you think we should give away lots of chocolate? Do you think we should make a funny video or do something different? What do you reckon?
Lots of chocolate. Lots of chocolate. I think Myla's answer would be lots of chocolate, to be honest.
Yeah, lots. What do we reckon, Ricky? What's the plan? What should we do for the big 3-year-old bash? That's you, Ricky. I'm directing that at you, mate.
Yeah.
All
What
of
should
the
we do?
What
Got
should
to
we do?
involve that
Matt,
car of yours, surely.
Matt, you've always got some quirky ideas.
It has to.
Well, I know what an avocado party's like now. Now I've been here a little while, so I think we need one of those, perhaps.
Yeah.
But a crazy
shot.
video as well. I think why just do one? We could do all of them.
Maybe the party is the crazy video.
Maybe we should do 3 parties because we're 3 years old. Maybe we have to just go all out and do a trail of parties and just see how many avocados can stick it out.
So if you are watching or listening live or later on and you want to come to an avocado party, put it in the comments. Let us know. Would you come to an avocado party? Let me tell you, they are spectacular. Let us know. We'd be interested. There's no shock that Neil said yes, party, but excited for that. Wow, what a 3 years it's been. And
Vegas.
Doing Vegas at the end of the year from a big 4-0 actually. So maybe not twice in 1 year. That's dangerous.
Oh, come. Where's the old Ian when you need him?
I'll be old out there, trust me. Right, so let's talk about buy-to-lets. I don't know if everyone saw Uncle Dave's rate of the week that came through. I've been watching this for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and what I've noticed is the buy-to-let rates are going down still, where the residential rates have they're stationary or a little bit crept up actually. So what I have noticed is very much that the buy-to-let rates are cheaper than the resi. We've got a few more party. So yeah, tag us if you want to come. We're interested to know. But what's the thoughts on that, Ricky? Why do you think buy-to-let rates, the banks are now favouring those as the cheaper options than the residential rates? Any ideas on why you think that might be?
I thought there would always be a time where it would come full circle, where buy-to-let investors actually would have a bit of a leg up, because for years and years and years, buy-to-let investors have been hit with additional certificates in which they've needed to pay, additional stamp duty, and higher rates. Whereas I think this has come from the top and from the government with the homelessness rate. And I genuinely think that where the rents are so high, year on year, they're up 8%. So I genuinely think that the governments have said to the bank that you're going to need to do something to be able to provide more homes for potential tenants.
Yeah, it's become very difficult to become a landlord actually at the moment. So anything that would help would be good. Matt, so the general feedback from Uncle Dave was this. We've seen a mixture of changes in interest rates this week, with Barclays reducing their higher loan-to-value products while increasing their lower loan-to-value range. So that means they're reducing the stuff where you've got a smaller deposit and actually increasing the stuff where you've got a bigger deposit. That's Barclays. Nationwide have also increased several of their fixed rates, and Coventry and the Bank of Ireland are due to do the same tomorrow. So the general theme is a little bit of an increase there. TSB and Accord have made rate reductions across their whole range, but it seems the lenders with the lower rates, such as Barclays, they're now tightening their belts in preparation for a potential base rate review on the 11th of May. But those have been, so they're basically trying to protect their profits in a little bit of hesitation, really, Matt, that maybe we're going to see another base rate increase next month, a week before our birthday. So don't do that, Bank of England. But that's what his view is. People are just setting themselves up now so that if that happens, they don't lose out on their profit. I've sent Milo to sleep. What do you think?
Everything I've read kind of speaks to that. I think the markets are expecting a couple more base rate increases over the course of the year. So I think that's why perhaps the banks, did you say with the lower deposit mortgages, the rates have got slightly worse, but if you've got a bigger deposit, they've got slightly better? That's how I read it.
Other way round. Yeah, other way round with Barclays, yeah.
Okay, interesting. But I think the general consensus seems to be, I've read different things with the base rates going to, we're at 4.5 now or 4.25?
4.25.
Yeah, so I've read that, we could see it at 5% at some point this year. well, inflation comes under control and then it's going to come back down. So I think we're in fairly steady waters of like the mid 4% for most mortgages now. And my kind of gut feel from everything I've read is we're going to kind of stay around there while the base rate perhaps goes up and then comes back down a bit through the year. But who knows? Don't sue me if I'm wrong.
We just don't know, do we? My gut feeling was we would top out at 4.5 and then that would kind of be where we sink in. But we'll find out. I mean, inflation dropped slightly last month. What will it do next month? We don't know. Steve's made a good point on the YouTube channel. To encourage investors back to the market, they need to address the stamp duty. I think that would help a lot of people. I think it would help a lot of tenants to be in a position where there'd be more landlords coming to the market. Remove that additional 3% seems like the no-brainer to me. Just take that additional tax band of 3% for landlords out of the equation. Loads of people I speak to want to be landlords. The retirement age for landlords is coming. That wave of like 30 years of investing. There's a lot of, I think it was 100,000 landlords a year are reaching retirement age for something like the next 5 or 6 years. So that's why we're seeing a lot of exit. But I don't know. I think, what do you reckon, Mike? I think if we just chopped out that 3% stamp duty, it'd feel nice, wouldn't it?
I think that would be a massive feather in the cap for anyone looking to either expand their portfolio or maybe hang on to their existing first-time purchase if they can, and then buy the next home and rent it out. Because I think we've seen that diminish where there's just, if you, let's say you bought your first-time purchase around here, let's say argument's sake, 350, 2 up, 2 down house. Traditionally, you'd be able to go, well, I've got some equity in that. I'll then buy my next house at, I don't know, 450, 500, whatever it may be, and I'll keep my current house as a buy-to-let, where that's not incentivized now because you're paying 3% over and above the normal stamp duty, but not only on the difference, but on the whole lot. So it's a massive chunk of money for people, and then there's no incentive for people to upsize. Equally, I also think that there's a lot more hoops for landlords to jump through now. So the prospect of actually having a buy-to-let is less attractive than it ever has been, because you're taxed a lot now unless you're doing something in a certain way, maybe getting a few, setting it up as a special vehicle or through a business, etc. But equally as well, there's a lot more hoops to jump through as a landlord, even in terms of setting up a buy-to-let, having the electrical certificates done, all this kind of stuff, referencing, etc. And whilst, you could argue that, yes, the rents are higher and that covers you, people look at it as an opportunity for, like you say, retirement or pensions or whatever the case is. And if it doesn't look as good on the numbers side of things, or it's more expensive to get a buy-to-let mortgage or whatever the case is, then you have to weigh up the pros and cons. Or would you be better off getting a few lottery tickets and chancing your arm there with the money? Who knows? So I think there needs to be some more encouragement for private landlords to come back to the market, to give the housing market more stock and more options for tenants, which will probably bring that demand down, which will probably then mean that the rates come down in terms of what people are paying per calendar month. Same as the housing market. It was crazy last year where we had 1% and 2% mortgages. They've gone up, slightly cooled off, the dust has settled, things are still moving, but it's not as crazy as it was. Just needs to happen on the rental side of things as well for investors.
It would be nice, wouldn't it, Ricky, to see a 12-month holiday on that 3%? It would make a big difference, especially in your area.
Beautiful.
A lot of first-time buyers. Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So tomorrow, actually, we've got a landlord page podcast drop-in talking about investing. I'll put a link in here so you can subscribe and check it out tomorrow. But we were talking about average yields at the moment in the home counties in and around the south of England. 5% is sort of the going rate on a yield at the moment. And the products that Peter, who's the seasoned sort of landlord that's been talking about, he's been doing co-living properties with 5 or 6 rooms to a very high luxury standard. So they feel like boutique hotels. They've got tellies in, they've got Cat 5. A lot of the bedrooms have got home offices built off of them, like where you would expect like a home office and a wardrobe built in. And they're getting anywhere between 12 and 14% on the yields for these. And the most recent one is just let with 6 rooms at £900 a room, 100% let before market. which is
Crazy.
mind blowing, right?
Yeah, massive. Definitely the way forward by the sounds of it, but having the capital to do it, right?
Yeah, well, in that particular occasion, it's $2,500 a month net profit being made out of that particular investment. So property for me always is a solid place to put your money. And I think, we've seen that over the last decade, it will be moving forward. So that's exciting. Ricky, let's come to you. Are there any listings that you've got coming on the market in the next month or so that you want to kind of tease us with? Any little teasers that you can share?
I do. Yeah, I do. I've got a 2-bedroom end of terrace property come to the market, hopefully this Saturday. Off-street parking, recently redecorated, newly modernised kitchen and bathroom. So that's a nice one. And I've got something really sexy coming on. Really nice.
Is that why you're out of breath?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, no, it's lovely.
What location?
Literally right around the corner from me. It's Sheppelbury Green. So it backs onto Sheppelbury Park. It's a 4-bed detached with 3 reception rooms, kitchen diner to the rear, 3 bathrooms. It's nice. Garage, off-street parking for 3-4. Really nice, quiet cul-de-sac, surrounded by £600,000-700,000 properties. Yeah, I can't wait to get it on board.
Nice. Rob, who's listening in, watching in on Facebook, just on my comment about HMOs, co-living, what's the regulations around this area with regards to Article 4 that's come in? And the answer to that is in the podcast tomorrow. So if anyone wants to know, subscribe, check it out, and have a listen tomorrow, because Pete talks about Article 4 and how some of the different regulations with HMO from town to town and even street to street around here differ. So we can touch base on that on the podcast tomorrow. Matt, what about yourself? Are we ready to to talk about kind of big news, or are we going to keep that wrapped up for the time being, Matt? What's happening?
Well, I don't really know. Now you're asking me on air.
Oh, go on, man. Give us a tease. Come on. We know what you like.
Should we just say something big's on the horizon for Matt, and that covers it?
Something's coming.
Is I need a new username. So let's just leave it at that. I need a new username, and I'm open to suggestions. So if anyone has, I hope I don't get a load of horrible suggestions now for my new username. If anyone has any suggestions that isn't the Reading agent, put them in the comments, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay. Something agent.
It's the teaser. It's a little teaser there. It's a little teaser. I like it. It's still going to have an avocado on the end of it, though. Mike, what have you got? You and Will, anything on the bubble that you want to share with us?
Yeah, we've been crazy busy the last few days with quite a few different bits and pieces going on. So we've got 2 awesome properties coming available in Bucklers Park. So growing popularity in that new build estate there. 2 absolute corkers as well, like really, really nice houses, only a couple of years old. Got a great project as well coming available in Crowthorne. Been extended, just needs everything doing inside basically. So it'd be awesome if someone's looking for something with a bit of potential that wants to go in and put their own stamp on it. Decent plot, loads of driveway parking. So that'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks. And we also are working on something incredibly special coming on in the region of about 2.5 million, which is a bit of a secret at the moment, but it is next level, like next level. The property video is going to be absolutely insane for this one. So yeah, we'll be excited to give you a few more teasers as the weeks go on that one. So yeah, if you've got 2.5 million cash, get in touch.
I'm actually not going to sell my house anymore, Mike, so it's a bit awkward. I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah, but you've already got the cash, so it's fine.
Love that. Let's have a look what we got here. I would grab some of your comments from TikTok. So Rob's talking about your username, actually. I just want to make sure that was appropriate to talk about. He's saying grab some of the comments off your TikTok videos for your new username. What do you reckon? If it was me, it would be at eyebrows. Avocado eyebrows.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps Rob's seen that not all of my TikTok comments are very friendly, as they don't tend to be on TikTok. But maybe I'll look in my comment section for some inspiration.
Yeah, I think that's always a good place to go for inspiration.
You've definitely got to run a competition, Matt, for best person, best name, something along those lines. Surely, sounds like TikTok is the place as well.
I think when you spill the beans about potentially the combination, that might lend itself to its own name. But that we will be talking about in the next 10 days, I would like to think. There's some great questions in there. Everyone was loving the start of the video. We've had 2 celebrities join us. We've had Grace and Myla. They were just filling in while Ricky was working his way around the M25. He came in slightly flustered and excited about the 2 spectacular listings he's got coming soon. Mike's teased us with a 2.5 milli that's going to be coming on the market at some point as well. That video would be awesome. And Matt's just left the door wide open to say, just watch my socials because things are happening. Super excited. Love the convo, gents. It would appear it's still raining. So if anyone was thinking of going for a nice evening walk while it's still light in the evenings, don't do that. If you didn't watch the whole live, go back to the beginning and check it out from the start. That would be the best advice. And don't forget that podcast tomorrow. Matt, anything from you before we wrap up?
No, great chat, guys. Enjoyed it. I'm glad I got here on time and pleasure speaking with you all. Actually, one thought.
Yeah.
Before I do have something, I want to just congratulate you, Ian, on your background, because I feel like there's some weak avocado backgrounds going on generally in these chats, and you've spiced up your.
Shall I show you something actually? So you know the light over my shoulder there, I can actually control it from my app here.
Oh, craziness!
Look at that.
Oh,
The only problem is I did it on green the other day, and someone said to me, "Ian, it looks like you're growing something in your office."
no.
Never do it on green.
Looks like it's doing very well. It's like coming over the end of the shelf there by next to the light. So you definitely got it in the right position.
Yeah. Note the avocado up there. There he is. Look.
Love that. Love that. And the hats, of course, and the hats.
Yeah, the hats. Got the full hat trick up there, and a couple of little just a couple of little statements. The one at the top, you might not be able to read it, but it says, "Don't wish for it to be easier. Wish you were better." And there you go. And that's how I'm going to hang up the call. Don't wish for it to be easier. Wish you were better. Always skill up. And we'll be back next Thursday. Thanks for everyone that's joining. Ricky, your kitchen looks awesome. It was nice to see Myla. Big news coming our way from Matt and